Hello. Gabe Heller here, G Hohenzollern on YouTube and HOWTO Brown Couch on Twitch. And we bought a roof rack for our car. And it arrived without any instructions, but I figured out how to put it together, so I'm going to show you how I did that. So here is the one we bought. It's the OCPTY brand, Universal 43.3 Win e-bike, snowboard, ski board, Chinese, Japanese characters. That one. The first thing that you're going to want to do is actually make sure it fits on your car. Here is the part that you're going to be most interested in to see whether it fits on your car. This one. They describe it in the listing as fitting on lots of cars, that it really doesn't necessarily fit on all those cars. But this is the part you'll need. And you'll also need this wrench that comes with it. So that's the first thing you want to do. And you'll also need the keys that come with it. These keys here. The keys work like this. Put them in here. Put them in here. Turn it. And then this opens up. And inside here, inside there, is the place where the wrench fits, like so. And you want to tighten this down as far as you can, because the cars that it doesn't fit on, at least that we have noticed, are the cars that are too small. You could also test it at its full extent, but I'm going to test it at its smallest extent because I know that it doesn't actually fit on my car. And we will be returning it shortly. But in the meantime, I figured I may as well help you all out in case you've bought one of these. We found a lot of comments online saying, oh, no instructions, 0 stars. And we were like, oh, I know how to put stuff together. This used to be my profession, assembling things. Sometimes without the instructions. It's going to be easy, but boy, when I got these parts, I'd never seen anything quite like them before. And it took me a while to figure it out, so I figured it might be useful for all of you if I could help you all, any of you who have bought this, figure out how to put it together. All right, so I've turned it, and oh no, it's still turning a little bit. No, there we go. Okay, it has reached the furthest extent, so it's now as small as it can be adjusted to be on this side. I'm just going to do the same for the other side. Just showing this to you from another angle, so you have hopefully a better idea what's going on. And you can see it's pulling this strap. That's what shortens the rack, the width of the rack. Okay, I think that's about as tight as it's going to get. Cool. Lock that back up and head on out to the car. We have a Prius, an old one that my parents gave us, so it's like one of the older Priuses that there are out there. Our cat Frankie has joined us because he wishes to make his mark. And maybe check out what's going on outside. Thank you. Here's our car. I'm going to sit this on top of the car, right about in the middle of where the two things are going to go. And as you can see, this part here hangs down to where the hook is actually going to go. The hook's going to go under here. So it's already at the length where the hook will be, but the hook is going to extend a little further down. And we'll check the other side. You can see it's about in the same place. And so with another inch of hook here, and this being as tight as it possibly can be, there's no way that this is going to fit on this car. So that's the first thing you want to check. Tighten it up as much as possible and make sure that it doesn't hang down too far. You want it to come like here, if it's going to actually tighten up and stay on your vehicle. But let's say for the moment that after testing it, you discover that it's fine for your vehicle, which is good, and you won't have to return it. Let's see how we actually put it together. You want to get back in the house, eh? There you go. So we've got the long bar here. I've got 2 of these. You'll have 4 because you bought 2 bars. I've got 2 of these. You'll have 4. 2 of these. You'll have 4 of those as well. Those. There they are. Or you can hopefully see them. And a couple of different hooks to choose from. I've chosen the hooks that look like this because of the shape of the gutters in my car. If you have a much older car, they used to have another style of gutters, and that's what the other hooks are for. The hooks that are the other shape. So, you'll notice here there's a bolt with a nut on it. Now, I have a driver that I'm using for this. This is a 10mm driver. It's possible that an English size driver will work too. This is just the first one I found in my set that works. Now, obviously, you can just take it off by hand, but you're going to want to tighten it, I think, with the driver, just to be sure it's tight enough. You don't want it to be too tight. You want these are the legs that we're putting on here. You want them to be flexible. So the legs consist of 2 parts. This is the one part, and it goes so the slot goes in there, facing with the big flat area towards the center. And there you go. That's what you do with the little metal piece. Put the curved side down, flat side up. Put the nut back on. Easier said than done. Come on. There we go. And tighten it up. Now, it's probably a bit too tight. You can see it only just barely moves. That maybe is about right. You do want there to be some play because you want it to conform to the shape of your car. Yeah. I'm just going to loosen it just a little bit. There we go. And then you put your rubber foot on. I believe these holes are for drainage. Maybe. We were thinking before we decided to return this that maybe we'd be able to attach something else to this via these holes. And then maybe it would be a little thicker, and then it would not. We'd be able to tighten it down onto our car. So then, as you can see, that's what it looks like. And this can move, and the rubber goes all around. The lip goes all around that thing. So I'm just going to do that again on the other side. I was really tempted to think that this other square hole here was somehow going to allow me to adjust things, but it doesn't seem to adjust anything. Like, I don't understand how you could install this here. The round part is the part that has the slit in it, so you can't. How are you going to put the round part here? There's no place for it to go. So I'm not sure what that second hole is for. I held out hope for quite a while that I'd be able to figure out how to use that second hole to adjust the length of it or something in some way that it would work on my car, but so far, no dice there. Oh, sorry. I forgot to put the metal piece in. Disappear. There it is. All right, and we're just going to loosen it a little bit. There we go. So now it's nice and loose, but not like it's going to fall off. And put another cover on. Make sure that the lip goes all the way around. There we are. See that the lip goes all the way around. Okay, so now we've got these things. These are these booties, and we've got the hooks. Now how's that going to work? It's probably going to be a lot easier if I loosen this end up, so I'm going to loosen it up. Yeah, and even if I could, like, one, I can't get this bolt out. I've tried, and it's stuck in there in a way that's like trying to solve one of those puzzles with, you know, with chain links that are meant to only come apart one way. So I've never been able to get the bolt out. And if I could put it in here, maybe the feet would sit lower. I don't think I might even need a longer bolt in order for that to work. But yeah, that's not going to make enough of a difference for it to fit on my car. Okay, there we go. Now we've got as much space as we can. So for each of these, first you put the boot on. This is presumably to protect it from rust and things. Sometimes I have to like squeeze it open like that. There we go. Okay, now the boot is on. Then you take the hook. You want it to be, you want the hook part of the hook to be underneath. And as you can see, it's kind of a triangular swoopy shape. You want to put one end in the end that just has one, and then work the other end through where there's two, the lower of the two, where there's two. There we go. I got it on. And then you want to move it up to the point that's higher. Now, I had some trouble doing this initially with one of these, and I actually had to cut one of these holes slightly bigger. I used a side cutters for that, but you use whatever metal cutting tool you can get in there. The side cutters was nice because it was very small. The other three worked fine. There was just one that I had a problem with. Slide the booty back on, and there you are. Let me do the same thing on the other side. And, you know, it's not like it doesn't seem to be perfectly strong. We haven't actually tested it, but it certainly looks like it ought to have hooked onto our car quite nicely. It was just too big, and we could not get it tight enough to actually stay on.
Just to let you know, this video is over soon. So rub your eyes and scratch your thighs and sing in tune. It's time to find another kind of video, for this one is nearly done, you know.
I think this is the one. One of these came bent, and I had to unbend it, so in case one of yours comes bent, this is kind of the shape it's supposed to have. Basically, it's not supposed to be bent. It's supposed to kind of stick out straight and maybe a little bit downwards. It's caught. It does tend to catch a little bit because, after all, those things are designed to catch, but on the metal thing, not on the boot. There we go. I got it past the part where it catches. I also was having trouble getting these to stick out as far as they ought to, which is kind of hilarious now that they stick out farther than I would like. But I eventually had to pull on them with pliers in order to get them all the way out. And And now that it's the second time, I'm not having to pull. They stick out perfectly far. But if you have trouble with it not sticking out far enough, you can stick a pliers in there and pull it out. So once again, I stick this in the end that only has one dart. I don't know what else to call that. And then feed it through the end that has two, the lower one of the two. There we go. And then slide it up to the top one. Slide the booty down over it. And that ought to hold it in place. And there you go. That's how you assemble it. You'll have two of them. The other one's over here. I've already assembled it. But now we're going to send them back because they were too big for our car, even though they were the smaller of the two sizes. Well, that's it for now, and I hope this has helped you all if you bought one of these and were confused by the weird construction with almost no hardware, and yet you somehow have to put it together. That's how you do it. Bye for now.